In this video, I want to show you guys what the best professional camera you can get for YouTube under $1,000 is. Let's go. What's up, my friend? Brandon here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we talk about tech stuff, YouTube related, like audio, video, lighting, and just cool tech stuff in general. So if you haven't already, please click that subscribe button and slap the post noties. But anyways, let's jump into the video. The first thing I wanted to talk about, $1,000 is not gonna get you every single thing that you see. It's not gonna get you the most professional, like top of the line, cinema movie camera. So let's just get that out of the way. There is gonna be some cons to every single camera you're gonna get for under $1,000 or right at the $1,000 price range. So with that out of the way, let's just get right into it. I was going in between two cameras with all the research I was doing and videos I was watching, all that type of stuff, and it was in between the Canon M6 Mark II and the Sony a6400. Both have their pros, both have their cons. The first one being is the Sony a6400. The 4K on this, it's actually 6K condensed into a 4K image, so it's going to be a lot sharper. The Canon M6 Mark II was 3.5K upscaled to 4K, so they call it like soft 4K. So that was one of the things I was considering. They both have the flip up screen. The only difference is the Canon's is fully touch enabled, so you can go through the menus, your settings, all that type of stuff. The Sony, on the other hand, is simply, it is touchscreen, which I don't get. You can do that, but you can't go through the menus. But you can do like focus, selecting focus points and stuff like that on there, but you cannot go through the menus, which overall isn't that big of a deal unless you just absolutely need that. But once you get used to it, you can just reach behind it and click all the things and you could get over that. Another thing was the Canon has digital image stabilization. Neither of these cameras have IBIS in them. The Canon has digital image stabilization you can turn on, and the Sony has none in the body, but you can get image stabilized lenses. So that's another thing I was considering, or the fact that Sony, from what everyone has said, and the recordings and stuff that I have listened to personally, the a6400 had better preamps. Sony usually takes more time, and I think they consider that. And you've also got to remember that audio is probably 50% of the viewing experience. They both have of course 4K 30 and 24. I think if you switch it to PAL, you can get like 25. They both also have 1080p, 24, 30, and it goes up to 120 frames per second, and you can get that. But the M6 Mark II has no audio. The Sony does have audio in 120p. I don't know if that's a big deal to you. Most of the time, if I'm using 1080 120p, I'm gonna have music because it's gonna be slow-mo anyways for me. So I'm gonna cancel or get rid of all the audio and just put music or something else, me talking or something like that in the background. Like, if that's a big deal to you, that's also something else that I was considering. As far as I know, I don't know if you can get updates on it, but I think just regularly how they came out, only the a6400 has picture profiles. So if that's something you want to get into now or eventually get into and get a more professional, and get better dynamic range and wanted to really get into like color grading your own footage, the Sony a6400 has them. The Canon M6 does not. So that was also a big thing weighing in for me. And from what I've read and researched, the Sony E-mount, they have the better selection of lenses and aftermarket lenses and stuff like that. So in that, the lens selection definitely goes to the Sony a6400. Another big thing for me, which might not be for you, is recording limits of the cameras. The M6 Mark II has a 30-minute record limit. If that's not a big deal, whatever. The a6400 has no record limit whatsoever, so you can literally keep going until you run out of memory card space. That was kind of a big thing for me, because once I get into the groove and just start talking, I don't want it to stop and then have to get up and hit record and then try to get back into the groove. So if that's something for you, that's something big to consider, honestly. If it's not, then you could possibly go with that one. I'm not sure if the M6 is like rain and dust proof. I'm sure it is a little bit, hopefully. I know the Sony a6400 is basically waterproof. The only thing they say not to do, or that I've seen, is try not to get the bottom of it wet with the battery door. Like, don't set it in a puddle on a table or something. That's just common sense to me. But as far as like shooting out in the rain and having to worry about dust, you don't have to worry about any of that. You can shoot in a rainstorm and be completely fine. I think that's about it as far as the pros and cons of each camera. I don't even think I've said what unless you picked up on that. I think I slipped up a little bit earlier, but the camera I'm using now, I can't really show you guys because I don't have two cameras like all the bigger YouTubers, but I chose and went with the A6400 simply because I wanted to kind of future-proof and I wanted a more professional camera. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention was the megapixels of the cameras, which the Sony kind of loses that. The Sony has 24.2 megapixels, which don't let that affect you too much because they both take super sick pictures. Sony has 24.2 megapixels and the M6 Mark II has 32.5. So if you're wanting like a picture first camera, I would probably go with the Canon M6 Mark II. If you're wanting a video first, more professional video camera, I would go with the Sony A6400. But I mean, overall, do your research, find out which one would work best for you, and go with that. Don't go off strictly what I'm saying. Do your own research. But if you want a beast of a camera for under $1,000, there's no way you can go wrong with the Sony A6400. And of course, we went over some of the cons. It's not fully touchscreen. There's no IBIS, but you can pretty much get away with all of that stuff. What I'm looking for is the cons. Is there a solution to the cons of that camera that I can eventually save up and get? Like the IBIS, you can get a gimbal. I chose the Feotech G6 Max, which I probably should have went with a little bit bigger capacity. It has a 2.4 pound payload, so you can, I've seen people use this with a Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens and get away with that. But right now, since Ronin came out, or DJI came out with new ones, you can now get the SC for $20 more, which I'll leave links to all this stuff in the description below. But $20 more, you can get one that holds 4.4 pounds and also has the little control where you can use the phone to control the camera on the gimbal, the movement. That'd be super sick. So I would definitely go with that if you have an extra $20 to spend. And you can get, I'm going to show you guys and talk about, like, for 1,400 bucks, you could get a complete vlogging setup with that gimbal. Oh, actually it's in my bag. I have to go get it. But with the Feotech or the Ronin SC, you could get that. You can get a Gobe ND filter. If you get the A6400 with the 60 to 50 millimeter lens, that's the one you're going to get for $998 on Amazon. And you can get the Gobe ND filter that fits on this one. 20 bucks, you can get a sick ND filter to put on it for outside, so you can keep your settings lower and you can just keep everything looking better. Get an ND filter. They're so sick. They're going to help you out so much. So with that, the gimbal, the microphone I'm actually using right now is the little Comica CVM VM2, VM10 version 2. It's $40 right now, and you can get a case, all the accessories, the dead cat, the cable for your phone and camera all come with it. And it's $40. They sound super sick. It's got a higher output than the Rode Video Micro, and it comes with all the accessories for $20 less than the Rode Video Micro. So super sick buy. And then you have that, and then everyone complains about, or used to, I think, they've got enough stuff now, or cages and stuff, but complained about the microphone being in front of the flip up screen. But Small Rig makes a little $20 attachment that moves your microphone over to the left side or the right side if you're holding the camera shooting. Puts the microphone on the right side so you have a complete view of your screen for 20 extra bucks. All that together with the camera, the lens, gimbal, ND filter, microphone is still going to be around $1,400 or less, even if you get the Ronin SC, which I would definitely get that one. And I'll have links to all this stuff in the description below. So if you do want to get that, they will be affiliate links. It doesn't raise the price for you guys whatsoever, but it just helps me out and gives me a tiny commission on the stuff you do buy. So if you're wanting to buy stuff and wanting to help out the channel so I can get future products and stuff, that would be so awesome. I would greatly appreciate it. The final thoughts for the price: if you were wanting to get a camera and you only had $1,000 to start, I don't think you can buy a camera that does as much as this thing does. With this super sharp 4K, the 6K downscaled, The 1080 120p for slow motion. The picture profiles take super sick pictures, and you don't have to worry about the IBIS when you're taking pictures. It's never been a problem for me, but everything will be linked below. You guys can get that. Like I said, if you could afford that and get all that stuff, you could have like a super sick beast of a cinematic vlogging camera for $1,400 that's with all the accessories you would need to step outside and start getting it. I did want to throw in there, I forgot to do this earlier, that my videos are in 1080p. I know the videos say 4K, but they're actually recorded in 1080p, and then I upscale them because it makes it a little bit sharper, and you get the benefit of YouTube ranking your video a little bit higher because it's in 4K. The reason I do in 1080p is simply because my laptop isn't the best. It's not spec'd out enough to be able to handle 4K and color grade. So usually I just shoot in the little vivid profile thing. It's not a picture profile, but you know that you have the standard and the vivid and sepia. Is that how you pronounce that? Whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Black and white, and you can go through all those little things like the little color modes. But I simply use vivid and 1080p, and then I just color grade it to get the skin tones right. Just a little bit, because my computer can't really handle that unless I want to edit a 20-minute video for like 5 years, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, and then just upscale it and you get the benefit of that. It looks sharper, you get ranked higher. But I just want to let you guys know, because I think the videos look amazing. I think the quality looks absolutely fantastic, and it's only 1080p. Like, I can't wait until I can save up and get, you know, a desktop that I can build up, or, you know, just get a super sick laptop, and then I can actually use a picture profile and do it in 4K 24, and that's even going to look that much better. But that's another good reason for this camera if you want to future proof and not have to worry about getting something that's only going to last you a year, and then you're going to have to get something else, you know, to replace it. But for $1,000, if you wanted to get a camera right now, I would definitely recommend this. Even if you had like $1,500, I would still probably recommend, well, I would recommend getting this and accessories. But overall, yeah, super sick camera. And actually, I'm glad I was going in between these two, but when I got it at Best Buy, they happened to not have the Canon M6 Mark II at the time, and I was wanting to go in and actually compare them, which I'd recommend that too. Go into a store where you can hold them and play with them and like look at the settings, get the feel for it. Don't be scared about what they're going to do. I mean, flip that screen up. If you can, turn it on and like act like you're vlogging a little bit and just see what it looks like, see what it feels like. Who cares? Do it, test it out, get the feel for it. You know, just make yourself a list of the pros and cons of each camera. If you want the M6, you know, a picture first camera that's still, it's not bad for video, and you don't mind the record limit, no audio in 120p, and the soft 4K, go for it. I mean, I would honestly still like to have that as a second camera. It's not a bad camera by any means. I just think for the price, the A6400 is so much more on a professional level. You've got the better 4K, you've got the picture profiles, the better preamps, but overall, $1,000, you can't beat this, guys. I'm telling you, it's super sick. You won't be disappointed. I know it's still a lot of money to most of us, and it almost made me sick buying this. Honestly, even $1,000 is a lot of money. But if you're wanting to take your stuff seriously, you're wanting to get a super sick camera, you can't go wrong with this. For the price, you're not going to get IBIS and all that stuff in them anyways. Usually, I mean, I think the body of the GH5 is what, like $1,500–$1,600 without a lens. So you're gonna be paying upwards of $2,000 for a super sick camera. It has better features and has IBIS, so you can get away with that for like $1,400. You can get a complete set. If you're just wanting to use the camera on a tripod, $1,000. You could buy this in a tripod. Boom, you're ready to go. Just get it. But anyways, that's going to be it. If you like the video, please subscribe. I know there is a lot more people that are watching my videos than subscribing. So if you would do that, I would love you for life and just help me out. If you're interested in these type of videos, it helps me out. If I know you're going to be watching them and you like watching them, or just to help me out, please subscribe, slap the post noties so you won't miss any videos. Like the video, comment, talk to me about stuff. I'll message every one of you back. So comment, we'll have conversations about cameras, gear, whatever you want to talk about. Let's go. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you to the next one. Peace.